Years ago I bought this little, I think it's a 5 pound cast anvil from Harbor Freight. It's a little guy. I just had a couple little riveting projects. That's all I needed it for. Never thought that I would use it for actual blacksmithing, but it sat around, and I figured, what the heck, this little guy deserves a chance if we can make it a little bit better. So we're going to see if we can. It almost has 0 rebound. I mean, it's probably 10%, if anything. Like I said, cast iron face, everything's cast on it. It's just a dull thud. It just sucks the energy out of every hammer blow. But we're going to see if we can hard face it and see what we can do to make it a little bit better. The first thing we did was hit the face of that with some sandpaper and try to knock any loose scaly rust that is on there off. Clean surface for welding. Second thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and warm it up a bit. I think 180, 200 degrees I think is the temperature that I've seen that is best for the body of the anvil to be before you try to weld it. So we're going to warm this up, and then we'll throw a few welds. Alright, water boils off at the waist, so it's what, 212 or whatever water boils at, so I figure it's warm enough to go ahead and start. Just a wire feed welder, flux core wire, nothing special. I'm not using hard face wire or anything. I just want to see how this turns out. But I ran a bead around the perimeter, cleaned it up, then I'll do one inside that, and inside that, and inside that, and inside that, until it's full. Alright, me and my welder, or my welding skills rather, went through and put a pretty ugly face on this thing. I'm just going to go through and give it a little once over look in any places, like maybe right there, that I'll hit it again real quick with the welder, fill up any really low spots, and then once I have that done, I'm just going to put it on the bench grinder put it on the bench vise and use the angle grinder to try to grind it down flat. But I'm going to see if I can get this to look just a little bit better before we get to the next step. If you do a little bit of grinding, you can really see where you were lacking in thickness. So I'm going to go through and kind of fill in some of these areas that are really low with that weld, and just kind of build it up a little bit. And I think it's mainly because it's going to be faster for me to build it up a little bit than it is to grind all that's already shiny down to the depths of the deepest hole there. So let me go ahead and do that. All the low spots were the majority of them filled in. I also went ahead and kind of ran an additional bead around the perimeter. That way I'd have a little bit of overhang so I could square them up and sharpen those edges just a little bit better. But back to the grinder, and we'll see how it turns out. Alright, when it was all said and done, I probably ended up with, I don't know, maybe 1/8 of an inch of steel facing on the cast anvil. The face, I'm not going to lie, needs a bit more work. It needs ground down a little bit more, but I'm tired. My grinder got pretty hot on me, so I'm going to call it a day. And since I've got the camera out here, I figured we could go ahead and jump to the end, even though it's not completely truly finished. But there it is. And as far as rebound, it improved somewhat. I mean, it's still not excellent, but you can see that it rebounds that hammer up a bit. It's it's hard to tell. It definitely is better than what it was. Comparatively, there's just a hunk of railroad track, so we could see it's not even as good as a piece of railroad track. Maybe with a couple more layers of weld, maybe it would improve. I don't know. Is it worth doing? I don't think so. Would I ever do it again? Absolutely not. This will, I mean, like I said, this one was laying around and curiosity got the best of me, and I decided to give it a whirl. Maybe if you would slap 2 or 3 layers of weld on there, and get a thicker chunk of steel on the face of that, maybe it would be a halfway decent anvil. But I ran through a little bit of wire doing just this little 5 or 10 pound or whatever this thing is. If you were doing a big welder, or a big anvil, you would go through 5 or 10 pounds of wire, and that stuff's not cheap either. You'd probably be better off just go ahead and buy a decent anvil. Like I said, this one is not as blue as it used to be. It used to just be a dead thump. It was like hitting ground, but it bounces a hammer, but not near as good as even just an old piece of railroad track. So, conclusion, don't even fool with Harbor Freight anvils. Anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Any questions, leave them in the comments, and be sure to subscribe.